We are catching up with some of the all-time greats in Campbell sports history, and certainly delighted to be all the way across the world with Alexa Genas, getting her career started all the way out in Helsinki, Finland, getting her career set to go this fall. Evan Budrovich with you as well. And Alexa, first and foremost, being in Finland, a country that you have some familiarity with your father playing professionally in that country, and a couple Campbell wrestlers as well from Helsinki, Finland. What's been your experience getting set to move across the world and start your career professionally?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty crazy. Just the way that, it was almost like on a Monday I was getting, like my agent was contacting me, and then by the end of the week I was here. So it has been crazy, but it's been amazing. Like it's a journey that I'm so excited for and happy to be here. And, my dad actually, he played here when he was playing pro, and he had nothing but good things to say about Finland in general. And so I had like some insight before coming here, and he has a family friend who he actually played with, who his sons live in Helsinki. So they were able to give me some insight in the city and, kind of what to expect when I got here. So yeah, it's been a great experience. And, when I got here, it was summer. So I got to experience a little bit of the warmth in the summer, but it's actually getting pretty cold out now. So I'm experiencing the Finnish winter as well. So it's been good.
A little chillier than the Buies Creek winters when you're getting set for soccer season.
yeah,
Alexa, it's
definitely
fascinating because both you and Katie Lockwood, who were all conference players and finished your careers last fall, are now playing professionally overseas and continuing your careers. What does it mean to have two Campbell pro soccer players here this season?
Yeah, it's something that as the second I met Katie, when it was coming to her recruiting, we spoke a lot about what our goals and ambitions were when it came to after finishing at Campbell. And that drive has always been there. It's like coming from Katie, and, from my end, it's always been something I've wanted to accomplish. So it's really special to see it actually coming together, and I remember this summer when Katie and we were training during like the COVID stuff. We were kind of talking, and we were a little nervous, like it kind of felt like a lot of uncertainty with how things were going to go, what direction they would go. And yeah, we felt a little bit uncertain of if seasons were even going to happen, if we would find a contract, if teams were going to be bringing in new players or just stick to the players they had. And so we weren't really sure, we were a little bit nervous. So for it to have happened for the both of us is a dream come true. And I know that Katie's working extremely hard and doing so well over there. So it means a lot to have the person that, wanted the same thing that I wanted, to see her achieving those and to kind of do it together. Obviously not in the same place, but, we speak and we catch up as much as we possibly can. So we're kind of on the journey at the same time and helping each other through everything. So it's good.
Speaking of journeys, you had a very prolific Campbell run over these last 4 years. When you look back now and reflect on what you were able to accomplish, what stands out to you during your Campbell career?
Oh gosh. I mean, I look back on it, and it's one of those things that I realize I wish I maybe was a bit more present in the moment. I think every single year it's like you set out for a championship title. And so sometimes when you're thinking about everything that's next, you don't really focus on the moment. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, okay, what's next? But you're not really like, oh, well, right now we just won that game that nobody expected us to win. So then you just move on. And I understand, like, sometimes you can't dwell on your success for too long, but also you do have to appreciate it. And I think that looking back now, the greatest thing about my Campbell journey was by far my teammates and the program and as a whole, because they became my family. I was far away from home already, coming from New Mexico. So to have people around me that supported me and helped me settle into the Creek was a big thing. And that essentially helped me on the pitch as well. But it's just being on the field with my teammates every single game and every day in training. Those are the moments that stand out the most to me. It was never even the wins. It was never the losses. It was never any of the accolades. It was always the moments that I shared with my teammates. You know, we had some great days, and we also had some really bad days where we trained until it was dark because we couldn't get it right. And I look back and I can laugh now, you know, like there are funny things about it, and great times, but yeah, they were amazing memories. And that's definitely what stood out the most about Campbell, was my teammates and the people I had around me.
I know you're not a very big numbers person, Alexa, but it was unique this past year because double-digit goals and double-digit assists. How impressive was that from your standpoint, being able to be obviously a great goal scorer, but also get your teammates involved?
Yeah, so going into junior year, you know, I played a little bit more midfield. And so that was kind of a role, the assist side of it, that I was looking to have an impact in my junior season as well. And I think that kind of got me prepared for my senior year. And I didn't, like, in the moment, I didn't necessarily realize the numbers and everything, but I remember Coach Samar sat me down after the season, and she was like, listen, Lex, I want to talk to you about your numbers, you know, and how you've just grown in as a player, and you might not see it just because you're not thinking about it, or you might not feel it because maybe we didn't win a championship, or, you know what I'm saying? So, but she sat me down, and my numbers each year increased. And I think that the biggest one that, you know, I took a lot of pride in was the assists, because sometimes as a striker, you almost feel like you're not involved in the game if the ball isn't coming up to you. And so to be able to find myself involved and contribute to helping my teammates get the ball in dangerous areas so that they can as well score was, you know, it was really, really exciting for me. And I think it made my season special from my point of view. Like, I felt good, you know, like if I didn't score, I knew that there was something else that I could bring to the team. And so, yeah, like when Coach Samar sat me down and showed me those numbers, it was a moment of like, oh, I didn't even realize, you know, like what my numbers were freshman year to junior year and then now to senior year. So it was exciting to see that and see my growth in different areas as well.
Alexa, not only do you think back to the success, but kind of the bond of this team that you grew up with so many seniors from freshman to your final year. What is the culture like of Campbell women's soccer, especially as a player who had a great time not only playing, but growing up with these girls for 4 years?
Yeah, the culture as a whole is unbelievable. And it's something that I noticed from before I even committed to Campbell. And that is a huge reason I actually did commit to Campbell, was how the coaching staff care about you, not only as a player, but a person. And you can get yourself into programs that, you know, you're just a number. And that isn't the culture at Campbell. They pay attention to you. They watch you a lot before they even recruit you and sign you and bring you in, you know, and that's huge. It sets the tone for what's expected of the players as well. And the coaches, it wasn't ever forced, you know, like they bring in a group of players that just kind of have similar personalities, similar traits, you know, but they know who's going to fit in with the team. And, you know, yeah, sometimes not everyone has the exact same personality, but for the most part, we all gel, and it might be in different ways, but we gel really, really well. And that has to do with the coaches bringing in people, not just players. But we've always been super family oriented. You can lean on anyone. I know everyone says that, but Campbell really was special in that sense of how much the players cared about each other, both on and off the field. And as far as my senior class goes, you know, they're one of the best bunches of girls I could have ever imagined being around for the last 4 years. And, you know, I miss them every single day. Like, I think back on my time at Campbell and I'm like, wow, like if I didn't have those girls, you know, I might have struggled a little bit, because it is finding the people that can help you and are in your corner. And my senior class was just unbelievable. Like I think of myself to be extremely lucky, and they'll be my family for life. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky with the culture that Campbell provided.
It's sort of neat to think about. Gosh, it's almost 12 months ago now to the day where you and those 9 seniors are walking out onto the pitch and get ready for senior day and then playing a playoff game against Presbyterian where the ball's bouncing all over the place. And do you still feel those emotions of being a collegiate soccer player? Like what's that like, just reflecting on it?
Yeah, I definitely do. That game, first of all, was just so many emotions. I don't think I ever actually dealt with them, but it was, we kind of just rode that high as long as we could. But yeah, like when I look back on that year and, the senior day and seeing everybody with their families and taking the field and, with Morgan, who unfortunately had her ACL that year, there were so many special moments on that day that I look back on and I'm like, that, like, even if we didn't win that match, obviously that was extremely important, but there were so many other takeaways from that day that sometimes just go unnoticed. And you can see the bond, I think, that our group had on that day because, it was pretty emotional. And I think that it kind of showed at the beginning. I don't necessarily think we put on like the best show. I think we figured it out eventually. But for me, I know I felt a lot of emotion and, I try not to let my emotions take over the match, but I definitely, the first half for me was really difficult because I was like, wow, this is like obviously not my last game, but it's pretty close to my last game in Campbell, in a Campbell uniform. And so it took me a second to get out of that rut and, kind of be like, all right, well, we're here to play a game, so get it going. But yeah, I mean, I look back on that day last year and the emotions are definitely still there and I can feel it. It went by so fast and, I can't imagine if I didn't have Campbell as a part of my journey. So, yeah.
For your story personally now, pursuing a professional career, you're going to one of the top clubs in Finland. They just won the Finland title just a year ago. So, Alexa, for you personally, how exciting is it to hit the ground running and to join a quality club there in Finland?
Yeah, whenever I got the offer, I immediately looked up the team and what they were about and, kind of the culture, and got as much insight as I possibly could from the staff that are here. And, immediately I felt like in a way the culture is pretty similar to what I experienced at Campbell. So in that sense, it was a no-brainer for me because that side of it is also really important to me. And as far as the football goes, it is amazing to be around players who challenge me every single day and push me. And, like we have players who are just on such a high level and it's fun to watch them, like I sometimes am in training and I'm like, oh my good, like she just did that, and so you can definitely see the intensity that comes with playing for a team like HJK, but it's been like a really, really cool experience for me. And, I have a lot of growth to do, but I'm enjoying and I'm loving it. And I feel really lucky to play for a side that challenges in the Finnish league. And, we get to play Champions League this season. So hopefully we can take that as far as we can. So yeah, we just, it's a competitive environment. And that was number one on my list, was that I wanted a challenge and I wanted something that was going to push me to new limits as well.
I know for you personally, it's much more than just sport. It's about the personal development, the mental health, things like that. How valuable is it to be a daughter of someone who was a pro athlete and a sibling of a professional football player and to now start that journey yourself here this year?
Yeah, it's been something that's been in me since I was young. I actually, didn't want to play soccer at the beginning, so I was a cheerleader just because, it was almost like I was spiting my dad and be like, no, I'm not playing. But the second that I made the decision to play, I just knew that I wanted to go as far as I possibly could. And my dad pushed me as much as he could and, taught me so much and laid the groundwork really of who I am as a player. So I owe basically everything to my dad in terms of my development from my youth ages. And he knew that as soon as I told him I wanted to play pro. He knew that he was going to have to sometimes put me in uncomfortable situations, you know, to the point I was like, I'm not riding home with dad. Like, mom, I'm going with you, you know? And sometimes that's uncomfortable, but it was necessary, and it helped me grow as a player, which you have to have thick skin sometimes. And so to have him around was a blessing. And, you know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And as far as like having a sibling, my brother was my idol growing up. Obviously when I was probably like 10 and stuff, he was actually playing. He unfortunately had some injuries that kind of forced him into retirement, but he had an amazing career. And so to be that age, which is a really influential age, to see him on the pitch at the highest level you possibly can, you know, to be an England international, it set the tone for me. And, you know, I looked up to him more than he might even realize, but it helped, it drove me as well to be like, this is what I want. This is what I need to do to accomplish that. And, you know, I had countless conversations with him when I felt like I wasn't good enough, and I felt like things just weren't going good, and I maybe felt like I wanted to be done. And he was like, listen, I support you, whatever you want to do, but it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. And, you know, he really helped me through some of those really difficult times. And so it's unbelievable the impact he's had, because, you know, not only as a player, but to kind of teach me things as well as he's gone through his retirement has been great. So yeah, I'm really lucky to have both my dad and my brother, who both played professionally, to kind of lead the way for me and show me what it's going to take to get to the level I want. So.
Alexa, we know you were such a big fish in this pond of Bowie's Creek, and really excelled here on the pitch and as a person as well. And we really wish you the best of luck getting your career started in Helsinki, Finland, and it's going to be a matter of time before you're making headlines out there. So really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Evan. It was really nice to talk to you, and I hope the Creek is doing well. And I hope to speak to you again soon.